This isn't really something I planned to say. I don't even know if it needs saying honestly. It's just been sitting there for a while. Quiet. And I guess tonight it felt a little louder than usual. I keep thinking about how it happened, not in some big, dramatic way. Just small choices, one after another. Things I didn't even question at the time. Like it was already decided somewhere in me, before I caught up to it. I don't think I noticed when it turned into everything. When your voice, your presence, just became the thing I measured my days against. And maybe that's why it doesn't feel like I gave anything up. Even the parts that were difficult or uncertain. They didn't feel like losses. Just necessary. I don't know if that makes sense. It's just, when I look back now, at all of it, at what I put on the line, I never really stopped to ask why. It didn't mean to, but I kept noticing you without really noticing, if that makes sense. Like there was this quiet gravity in the way you moved, or maybe in the way you weren't moving at all, and I kept being pulled, softly, almost by accident. And it wasn't like I was trying. I wasn't consciously aware. I thought I was just there, looking, listening, breathing in the same room, and somehow it became something else, without any announcement, without ceremony. And I didn't mean to notice the way your eyes catch the light, or the little pauses you take when you speak, like you're holding something back, or letting something in. I didn't mean to remember every detail, the tilt of your head, the small sounds you make when you laugh, the way you say a word differently than anyone else I've ever heard. I didn't mean to feel protective, not like a shield, not in some big way, just quietly, like my whole body remembered to make space for you, even when I wasn't thinking about it. And sometimes I catch myself watching, or thinking, or just holding a thought of you somewhere inside, and I realize it's been there longer than I knew. It's like it slipped in, slowly, day by day, and now it's impossible to tell where I end, and that feeling begins. And I keep trying to tell myself it's nothing, or that it's just familiarity, or habit, but my hands remember the way you're there before my mind does, and I realize I didn't mean to carry you like that, so present, so quietly necessary, so unavoidable. I didn't mean to imagine the small things, the things no one else would notice. I think about the way you tilt your cup when you drink, the tiny crease near your smile that appears sometimes, only when something is genuine and unplanned. I didn't mean to remember the scent of your jacket, or the way your fingers touch something absent-mindedly, like they're tracing invisible lines, like they've been learning something about the air itself. I didn't mean to notice the way your presence changes the way a room feels, slower, softer, lighter, somehow, so that even when you're not there, it feels slightly wrong, slightly missing, as if the air itself has remembered you better than I have. I didn't mean to feel impatient when I couldn't be near you, or nervous when I was. I didn't mean to measure moments, or count them silently, or replay conversations that seemed ordinary, and yet weren't. And sometimes I wonder if you even realize how unknowingly present you've been in me. I didn't mean to keep it all tucked into quiet corners of thought, where it waits, where it lingers, where it grows without sound. I didn't mean to let it feel like this heavy, invisible weight that I carry so softly. I can barely call it weight at all. I didn't mean to trace your laugh in my mind, over and over, until it's not just sound anymore, but some kind of pulse I can feel in my chest. I didn't mean to notice how your shoulders move when you're tired, or how your hands shift when you're thinking, or how your silence is sometimes louder than any words. I didn't mean to catch the small hesitations in your speech, the subtle breaths, the almost imperceptible changes that tell me something is happening inside you, something I'll never fully know, but can't stop recognizing. I didn't mean to imagine the future, though I do softly, quietly, without saying it aloud. I imagine it like a light through a cracked window, barely noticeable, but persistent, and I didn't mean for it to feel so inevitable, like the air itself has already carried you there. I didn't mean to feel protective of the little things about you that no one else sees. The things you probably forget about yourself. The things you don't even know matter so much. I didn't mean to hold them like fragile glass in my mind, polishing them with my quiet attention, until I forget the difference between what is real and what I've made sacred by noticing it. I didn't mean to keep repeating myself, circling the same moments over and over, like the same quiet song in the background of my thoughts. I didn't mean to hold on to the way your voice feels in memory, or the way your presence lingers in a room after you've gone. I didn't mean to replay the small gestures, the fleeting expressions, the fragments of time that seem unremarkable, except that they aren't. And I don't mean to feel the way I do when I think about all of it together, all at once, as if it has woven itself into the fabric of me, without permission, without announcement, without pause. I didn't mean to risk everything in the quiet, subtle ways that matter more than words. I didn't mean to let my own decisions be quietly, almost invisibly aligned with yours, or to let my care for you stretch further than I thought I could reach. I didn't mean to feel the small panic when I realize how much of me exists in you, or how much of you exists in me, in ways I can't explain, can't control, can't even fully see. I didn't mean to let it matter so deeply, or to let it settle in spaces I didn't know I had, spaces I didn't even know could hold someone else. I didn't mean to notice all the things that might seem ordinary to anyone else. How your hands rest, how your eyes linger on something distant, how your laugh folds around the edges of a room, but I did, and they exist now in me, quietly, persistently, more than I meant to let them. And I realized that, maybe it's not something you can ever see, or something I should even explain, because it isn't about showing or proving. It's just here, present, unasked for, unplanned, softly persisting, like a shadow you can't quite place, like a quiet room waiting for something. And I didn't mean to let it feel so permanent, so undeniable. I didn't mean to, but and maybe that's enough to leave it here, quietly. Just lingering. Somehow it became everything, without me noticing. I think about it sometimes, quietly, like it's a small pulse at the edge of thought, and I'm only now feeling it fully. I didn't see it happen. I wasn't looking for it, I wasn't waiting for it, and yet somehow the days started counting differently, and the hours felt different, and the spaces between them started filling with your presence, in ways I didn't realize, until I stopped to breathe and realized it was already there. It's strange, the way something can creep in so slowly, that it feels like it's always been there, even though I know it wasn't. Even though I remember a time when it wasn't, and now it's here. It's in the way I notice the smallest things. The way a cup tilts in your hand, the way your breath shifts when you're thinking, the way a word falls from your mouth and lingers, soft and quiet, and I catch it and carry it without meaning to. I don't think I noticed how much of myself was quietly rearranging to fit around you. Not in some dramatic way. Not consciously. But the way my mornings feel lighter when I imagine you there, even if you're not. The way the night feels smaller, somehow, because I want to make space for you in it. The way a thought of you drifts in without me asking it to, uninvited, persistent, quiet, gentle. Somehow it became everything. But it wasn't, I didn't realize. And sometimes I wonder if that's what it means to care like this. If it's just being slowly, softly claimed by something that feels like inevitability. Though I didn't plan it, and I wouldn't have asked for it. Except it's here, anyway. And it's the small things that tell me the most. How your laughter falls, almost by accident, in a rhythm that feels like it was made to touch me, in a place I didn't know existed. How your hands rest on something ordinary, and yet the way you rest them makes everything ordinary feel less ordinary. How the tilt of your head, or a quiet pause, or a half smile can anchor me in a way that nothing else ever has. And I didn't mean to notice all of this. I didn't mean to let it stretch so wide in me, but somehow it has. Somehow it's larger than the moments themselves. Somehow it has become, well, everything, and I only notice when I try not to. I don't even know when it changed from noticing to needing. I didn't mean to need you like this. I didn't intend to let a thought of you press against me and stay there, soft but unrelenting, like a gentle weight I can't set down. And yet, here it is. You exist in the quiet corners of my mind, and in the loudness of my pulse, in the way the air feels different when I imagine you, in the way a room seems empty when you leave. Somehow, without me being conscious, I carried you in everything I did, small choices, minor decisions, things I would have said or done differently, if you weren't in the edges of my thoughts. Somehow it became everything, and I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't aware. I thought I was just being myself, but even that self was quietly bending toward you. And now I don't know where it ends, where I end, and where the feeling begins. I think about the way a day can pass without anything remarkable, and then one small thing, one glance, one word, one breath, makes it all rearrange, and I realize that the quiet life I thought I was living has already shifted to make room for you. Somehow it became everything, but there was no declaration, no announcement, no ceremony, just the slow, quiet accumulation of noticing, remembering, imagining, holding, and then realizing, almost by accident, that all of it has stacked up into something I didn't even have a name for, something I couldn't define if I tried. And I keep coming back to the moments I didn't realize mattered, the moments that seemed inconsequential at the time, the pauses between words, the tilts of your shoulders, the way you hold yourself when you don't think anyone's looking. Somehow, without me noticing, these tiny things became enormous in my mind, enormous in the spaces where I keep what I care about most. Somehow your presence grew until it touched everything I could reach, and I didn't see it coming. I didn't see it growing. I didn't even see it settle into me so quietly that I almost didn't notice the shift until one day I realized everything else had rearranged itself around you. And it's not dramatic, it doesn't shout, it doesn't even ask for acknowledgement, it just exists quietly, persistently, like the slow rise of tide that you only notice when the water has already reached your ankles. And I didn't mean for it to reach so far, but it did. Somehow it became everything without me noticing, and now I find myself thinking of you in spaces I never thought I'd bring anyone into. I think of you while I'm walking, while I'm reading, while I'm waiting for something I don't even know is coming. I think of you when I close my eyes, when I open them, when I pause mid-thought. Somehow it became everything, and I didn't see it arrive, didn't recognize it settling, didn't even notice the quiet way it started to pull at me, softly, insistently, as though it had always been meant to. I didn't intend to hold you like this, in all these small, almost imperceptible ways, but somehow I did. Somehow it became everything. And I keep circling it in my mind, turning it over quietly, noticing it again, and again, as if looking closely will tell me something I didn't know before. But it doesn't, or maybe it does in a way that can't be spoken, can't be fully named, can't be fully understood. And I keep thinking of you, softly, quietly, in ways that are intimate without being seen, persistent without demanding, present without insisting, until I realize, this is what I've been holding on to, what has grown around me without permission, what has become everything, even though it's strange, the way all of this lingers, quietly, without needing explanation. I can feel it in the spaces between breaths, in the pauses that stretch longer than any sentence. I keep noticing it, your presence, the small ways it threads through me, the gentle weight of it that I carry without thinking. I don't need to name it, or justify it, or even understand it fully, it's just here. And I feel it in the quiet, in the way a memory rises without warning, in the way a thought of you touches me softly, like a hand that never leaves. I don't try to hold it, or shape it, or pin it down. I let it exist, like something already settled into the room, like something patient enough to be simply present. And so I stand here, noticing it, quietly, and it is still, and it is waiting, and it is